Now, still talking about the executing process group, something else to call your attention to is in directed managed project work, don't forget, you've got your project management information system, and these are your tools and techniques. Your tools and techniques, I like to look at these a little bit differently. I like to look at these as things that I need to do to get something out. This is what I need to have to get the process rolling. This is what I need to do to get this output. So ask yourself as you read all of these processes in executing, what is the relevance of this? And for each process, I expect you to have a sheet where you've done your analysis of these processes and really ask yourself in brainstorm mode what you get in, what you get out, how you do it. And we've got 8 processes in executing. It's worth doing this for every single one. I'm going to do one more for you here. And these are just my ideas of these processes. We're still in executing. And we are talking about a process which many people know, called perform quality assurance. I mean, everybody knows about QA. If you've been in the world of Six Sigma, if you've worked in manufacturing, or you've worked in some other part of operations, you obviously know that perform quality assurance is from the quality knowledge area. And in order to carry this out, the inputs, the key inputs that you need to be thinking of, they are of course peculiar to quality. But bear in mind, in the executing process group processes, one rule of thumb that I would like to share with you is we use the native plans as inputs. What do I mean by we use the native plans as inputs? Exactly what it sounds like. For perform quality assurance, you don't use the project management plan as an input to this. You don't use any plan other than its native plan from quality, which is the quality management plan. Let me remind you of this really quickly. Open up our book and show you where this is in here. We go over to chapter 8. And by the way, the book is Project Management Essentials. You can get that on our website. But if we take a look at Perform Quality Assurance, what do you see as the input? Quality Management Plan and Process Improvement Plan. No Project Management Plan, is there? Let me show you one more. Still in executing, if you can visualize the next processes down, those come up in Human Resource Management. So if you go to Human Resource Management and you do a quick search under Acquire Project Team, here's Acquire Project Team. And wish I could show you here if you can see it. You probably can't see it very well. But over here we have Human Resource Management Plan, not Project Management Plan as an input. So I'm showing you this to make you more sensitive to the fact that in executing you use the native plans as inputs. The native plan for Perform Quality Assurance is the Quality Management Plan. And also remember, you do have the Process Improvement Plan. These two are so important. You use these two as inputs. Now, when you talk about what exactly you are doing, you need to remember that you are checking, this is very important, checking the work. And this is so big, I'm going to circle it. We are checking the work. We are not checking the deliverable. We're not checking the final deliverable. We're checking the work process. So quality assurance is different from quality control. You really need to know why, and you need to know this cold. You really need to know this cold. When we talk about audits carried out in quality assurance, we're talking about audits to check the work. Let me show you again in that table we just looked at. In Chapter 8, we go to that page in the book and check out Perform Quality Assurance. Right here, you can see that quality audits over here. Quality audits is a tool and technique. Quality management and control tools is a no-brainer. It's been like that since the other editions. We've always known that tools of quality could be used interchangeably across those processes. But when it comes to quality audits, I find people mix that up with the term inspections and audits from procurement. Now, they're closely associated. In one, you are the buyer, and the other, you're the seller. In this one, perform quality assurance, put on your seller's hat. You are the seller in this instant. You are making sure that what you are doing is good for the process. The work process is good for the project in terms of the work processes. So quality audits is very important when it comes to the tools and techniques. So again, my tools and techniques, my quality audit is important, and my process analysis. You see, sometimes it just takes you sitting down and taking off the, oh, I know it hat, and say, I don't know it. Let's see what these people are really talking about. Let me break down each process. So I want you to put together different pieces of paper for your analysis of these pesky processes. 47 of them. It's like 47 children running around the house and you trying to get them under control. You know what I'm talking about if you've been there, done that. 47 things running about in your head. You're trying to get them under control, and each of those 47 has an input, a tool and a technique, and an output. I mean, there's so much to talk about here. One of the big things that comes to mind in executing is, as you are carrying out process improvement, you're doing your process analysis, you're carrying out your process improvement, you've got a plan for it, you're going to get an output which is nothing else, nothing other than the change request. I would strongly advise you to find out the commonalities of many of these processes. In our book, right here at the back, we have some very helpful tables which go through all of the different processes and their ITTOs in a grid format, so you can very quickly take a look and see what the ITTOs are for each process. I would highly suggest this. I would highly suggest that you do this for executing. Think of all the executing processes. For example, managed stakeholder engagement is in executing. You've got change requests, right? How about if we take a look at the others? Let's go take a look at some of the other ones. Let's go to procurement. In conduct procurement, change requests. That's from executing. Let's go to the most famous executing place where all the three famous human resource management processes live. And let's take a look. Right here, acquire, develop, and manage. I would advise you to go through the list like that. You can see change request comes up in managed project team, but you can also see team performance assessments comes from here, goes in here. You see, project staff assignments comes from here, goes in here. So you really need to break it down by looking at these under the microscope, taking your sheets, making your notes, and really brainstorming to find out what exactly is happening here. Now, if we stay here for a little bit to prevent me from having to draw up more of those page analysis for you, let me just point out to you that some of the most important parts of executing lie right here, because he had a lot of tools and techniques that you could be hammered on the exam. You've got pre-assignment, negotiation, acquisition, virtual teams, and the big mouthful, multi-criteria decision analysis, which is nothing other than an analysis to ask yourself, what are the criteria for employing or hiring people for this project? What do we need on the project? You need to really know what all these are. And I would advise that you go to Appendix X3 to read the different